याहि माधव याहि केशव मावद कहि तव वादौ ता अनुसर सरसी रुहलोचन यातव हरति विषादं मावद कैतव वादं मावद कैतव वादं हरि हरि मावद कैतव वादं मावद कैतव वादं याहि माधव याहि केशव मावद कैतव.
Namaskar everyone. I welcome you all to our interview series In Pursuit of Excellence, presented by Sahapedia and Sangeet Natak. Today we have amongst us renowned Odissi choreographer and dancers, Sangeet Natak Akademi Awardee, Srimati Surupa Sen. Namaste Surupa Didi.
Not Srimati.
Miss Surupa Sen. Yes. Always the Nitya Sumangali, the Maharis here. Eternally,
Okay.
eternally wedded. So this,
Whatever, but not Srimati.
yeah. So Didi, since we brought this topic of in pursuit of excellence, and you
Yeah.
have dedicated close to 30 years to this idea of, pursuing an excellent dance form and, extending it. I wanted to begin tracing your journey, and in that order also understand how did you develop your own art. So perhaps if you could just begin by your training in Odissi, which began with Pratima Betiji, and then Kilachar Mohapatra ji, Ramani Ranjan Jina sir, these were all also a part of your earlier training. So if you could just trace back. Yeah.
I actually started training in Odissi only in Nrityagram in 1990, and it was with Guru Kilchan Mahapatra. He was the guru here, and the Gurukul actually was built for him by Gaurima, who spoke Marathi. So I never really had too many classes with her. My main teaching was from disciples of Kelu Babu, who are Guru Vichitranandan style, as well as Guru Radhikant Mahapatra. They were here for 3 years. First 2 years with Vichi and the third year with Shibuji. But Guruji was in and out of here all the time. He would come here for several months and basically teach us and supervise his Guruji. Gaurima taught us once in a while and not on a daily basis. Ramani Guruji came for a few workshops.
Okay. And Didi, when you say, so I want to understand when you say that you were taught by Guruji and Guruji's disciples, Nrityagram is renowned to also have a very comprehensive training module. So as far as we all know, there were also a lot of workshops happening in different genres, not just dance. So if you could just take us through those early training years, how do they go?
Training really has been only till 1993, which is 3 years. with Mooji. Thereafter, it was Garima and Ramani Guruji. There was also Trinath Maharana who came here for maybe one workshop or two. I don't remember exactly, I think one. But we've had a lot of exposure to different kinds of training, whether it has been just physical body training. Choreographers from all over the world have come here, and we have traveled and been exposed to a lot of really great artists. Uh, but honestly, I have been doing my own work since 1993, focusing on analysis, development, and uh, completely re-looking at my dance. I also had to do it because I was the only one here who could, practice as well as motivate everybody else. So responsibility came on to me very early. Garima depended heavily on me. So she would teach me, and then I just had to practice for many months all by myself, as well as pass on the information to everybody else. So in a lot of ways, like I said, responsibility was just thrust upon me, whether I liked it or not. That's how it went. So a lot of my work has been my own.
And Didi, I believe it was 97 when you became the artistic director of Nrityagram officially.
Yes.
97. Yeah. And like in 98.
I,
Yeah.
but I had been restaging and teaching for long before that.
Yes, of course. Um, and Didi, what were the I have read one of your interviews that you have mirthfully said that if one wanted to train well, then one can either go into an army or to Nityagram. Why was that?
Well, because I'm an army kid and I trained everybody here pretty much after that, in a way that I was brought up, great discipline, a lot of hard work. And I think if you want to be an athlete or an artist, like if you want to be the athlete of dance, like they say, that's what dances are, athlete of God,
And
actually. Then
no, no,
you have to work. Is it's not because dance is it's not just it's a physical, emotional, mental, all of those things happening, but it's also a very complex set of movements. So anything that is complex and layered requires you to be at it. It's like learning Latin or Sanskrit and being able to, write poetry in it. So the body is your instrument here. So it takes you that much longer than even a spoken language for you to even get somewhere. So obviously, if you're not going to do it as if the world is going to end if you don't practice, I doubt you're going to get anywhere.
yeah, absolutely. And in that way, Didi, if you could just take us through a schedule of what Nityagram follows, like what it used to follow, and I think it still follows. So I think you wake up at 5 a.m.
That's what we did. We woke up at 5 a.m. We went for a run. We came back and then we did an hour of just body conditioning work, and then we did an hour and a half of basics. Then we broke, and all this was, and we cleaned the Gurukul and all of that. But we had to do all of that before 9 a.m. So after that, we went for breakfast and came back by about 9:30, and then it was 4 hours of training, and then we broke for lunch. Then we cleaned the dining hall, all of that. We get a 1 hour break to do your own thing, even if you want to wash your own clothes or do anything. And then back to the garden at about 3:30. And then from 3:30 to 5:30, we worked on the land, where Goima believed that you have to be able to build a connection with the earth, grow food, and the holistic living of it. And then 5:30 we were back in class, which was then up to about 9:30 in the night, 9:30. So we got a solid 12-hour day in class. But besides that, I think we did a lot of work and investment in every aspect of the community because we were building it together. And there was no template that we had to follow. So as we went along, we were building rules, we were, altering, changing things that didn't work. And Garima was finding, her own way through it, and we were just sort of following her and Guruji. Today we do almost the same thing, but the number of hours that we used to practice or work in the community has drastically changed. But it's still 6 o'clock in the morning. You get up and you walk, run. You come back. You clean your spaces. Then you come to class by 10:30 and go nowadays till 2 o'clock, and then lunch, and then there are different classes scheduled from 4:30 onward. So if it's an ensemble work, then in the evening we rehearse again from 7 o'clock on. So every day can be a little different. So it's not like, I wouldn't call it an institution. We are a gurukula, so it's more like every day is transformed to shape our needs, for our needs. So yes, that's how it is.
And Didi, you said that you actually, in terms of time, you only got 3 years with Guru Keluchan Mohapatra, and then there were workshops off and on. Also, I think in '98, Gorima passed away. So there was a huge responsibility which was thrust upon you to lead Nrityagram forward. And now it is renowned as Nrityagram technique, where you have a lot of elements from Natya Shastra and a lot of variations in Abhanga, Tribhanga, Chauka, Uttalabanas and Brahmaris, everything. So I want to understand, was this, uh, and you developed it with together with Vijayani Satpathy ji. So I want to understand, was this incentive because you had so limited interaction with the gurus, or was it because, I mean, what was the impulse and what was the need to find a new technique?
Well, I think most of the work in terms of developing the basic training module has been done by Vijayani. I haven't done that work. My work has been in training the ensemble and creating new ways of moving. I think that what happened was actually the module for training and the basic expansion of the vocabulary became necessary in a way, I think she felt, because the kind of work that I was doing choreographically and the demands that were being made seemed to be more complex. Even Guruji's work is quite complex. But what happens is that as you start training, as soon as you start training, you're already moving into quite complex work, because Odissi per se is already, it works in so many dichotomous levels and oppositions and isolations of the body that the actual vocabulary for the major and minor limbs need a little more disassociation from each other, so that you're learning it in capsules and then flushing out what is absolutely necessary for a young person who's starting to understand the vocabulary. So I think that's been her focus. My focus has been actually just creating a lot of work, and everything, like on a daily basis, I create new ways of moving, new arasas, new thinking, new every day. So I always tell my dancers, what I'm teaching them is not that I'm not teaching them exercises or movements. I'm just teaching them what is the meaning of dance. Not thinking dance, what is the meaning of dance? And that, I think, is to be lived and to be understood on a daily basis. So at every single day, I feel, for me, when I'm teaching, I am creating new ways of learning and moving on every day, every day. So from one day to the other, if you've missed one class, then you've literally missed a whole bunch of new ways of moving. So I unfortunately do not document anything. So if nobody else does, then there's nothing to be done about it. I feel, in fact, a lot of people right now are, begging that we should start doing that. But I think my job is just to create. So I just create on a daily basis. But yes, that's why the module, so working backward from the material that a dancer has to do, to work backward so that when they are introduced, a new beginner, they can access the information in a more organic or more easier way. I
Yeah.
think that's the.
And Didi, since you say you have to work backwards, even before you must be choreographing, there would have been a body of basic technique, which would have to be instilled in the dancers.
I mean, whatever I have learned from my teachers, that's what we practiced on a daily basis. Before we began to think now, I mean, a lot of my work is, I am personally interested in the language analysis, whether it's everything, every aspect of dance. So thinking. I mean, we don't do anything else here. You know that. We just, that's what we do. So on a daily basis, all you do is, like Garima used to say, you eat, sleep, breathe, sleep, nothing else. You just dance and you think dance and you feel dance and you experience dance. So obviously my brain has been functioning only at that level. So new things are bound to come up, new ways of moving, new ways of thinking, new ways of training. That's what's happened quite organically.
There are a couple of questions which I want to ask you, Didi, which are off whatever we had decided. Whenever anything new is developed, whether it is in art, science, anything, it is taken with a sense of caution. And I mean, so I want to understand when you were developing, and of course now Nrityagram is Nrityagram, but when you were growing up, what was the reception of this new language and a new way of movement, and how was it received, and how is it received now?
New what? What new
New
reception?
new language of movement. How was the
What was the, is that what you're asking? What was the reception to it?
Yes.
This is something that people keep asking me also, you're moving in a very contemporary way. So how does it, how did you come about it? To tell you the truth, I don't think that we move in a contemporary way. To me, I'm very much, I think what happens is on a daily basis, if you're just doing that one thing and that's all you're doing, whatever is coming out of you is going to still be that. Yeah. So it's just that, like I said, but if I am constantly thinking about it, right from, what is the shape I'm moving my wrist into, my neck into, what is the proportional differences or distances between each part of the body, and how do you move it so that it's cohesive or reciprocative, or whatever it is. It's something that I study all the time. This is what I do. This is what interests me. So whether it is creating dance or practicing dance or training dancers, if I'm listening to music, or I'm looking at poetry, or it's for me, it's constant state of curiosity and wonder. And so why is this happening? What am I doing? How am I going to do it? And it's really just for fun. It's to make my life fun and to make it interesting. I don't have anything else other than, I love this thing. So everything I do is with that purpose of, how can I get better at it? How can I, create something to keep myself motivated as well as everybody around me?
Yes. And
so
you also use this word contemporary. which is, I've been having this discussion with a lot of people. What is contemporary? What is classical? Because in essence, our classical dances are also neoclassical. I mean, they were not what we were doing 2000 years ago. So everything is contemporary. It's just what it gets in vogue. Is that what you feel about your work?
I don't, I don't, I don't fully agree with that.
Okay.
I don't fully agree with that because I think that contemporary is a sensibility. How you choreograph is a sensibility. It's not. You have to practice it so much that when you make even a small list line in space, you know instinctively that this fits or it doesn't fit. Now, what happens is when you don't know it well enough, you don't know how to fit it. So I feel that's essentially the difference between, I'm a classical dancer, but I live in the 21st century, and therefore the way that I'm functioning is being constantly being fed by what is my present times. However, I am still not saying that in my dance I'm opening a tap and filling water from a tap, or I'm taking a gun out or shooting, or I'm not, wearing a pant and I mean, you could do that if you want to,
Phone,
but
when will you come
yeah,
down?
yeah. So for me, the integrity of the form lies, the beauty of it, the aesthetic of it is very important. So, what do you do to maintain an aesthetic? I don't think that anything that we do has a contemporary theme to it, in sense of I'm not talking about drug addiction or but I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not admissible. If you want to do it, it's your personal artistic choice. But for me, I feel that the universal content of classical Indian dances is what makes it stand apart and universally communicative.
Yes.
So you want to do something that loses that intrinsic quality of the form. So yes, I am contemporary to the extent that I'm very much part of this century, but I am completely traditional in the sense that I believe the aesthetic of the form that I practice must be encouched in where it came from.
Yes.
So the sufficiency of what you do is very important. How much to do and how much not to do. So you basically train your brain all your life to understand that balance.
And Didi, talking about your choreographic impulses, uh, uh, I want to just, if you can just take us through. I know your first production was Shri, and then the last one was Ahuti, I guess, which was like version 2 of Samhara. I don't know, probably. But
Version two, really.
because you had collaborated again with Chitrasena dance company. So I want to understand where do these impulses come from when you uh, want to choreograph something, and like you said, you want to have a contemporary vision with a very classical root. What are your inspirations? What do you look at? Do you look at a sculpture? Do you look at text, music? I mean, how do you generate a theme?
I want to say something funny, but I won't. I'm going to say something important. Okay. Um, Impulse. I think that, I truly believe that I choreograph because it comes very naturally to me. And it is something that I have always done as a child and growing up. I don't believe that I have much of a contribution to it in the sense that I allow. I mean, I really allow. I listen very carefully to whatever it is that's happening, And if it's, if it's a music that strikes me, then I'll it's the most potent thing, then I will move from there. If it's a word or poetry, then I'll move from there. If it's an idea of something, I'll move from there. If it's a rhythm, then I'll start from there. There's no set pattern. Anything and everything can be inspiring, and the impetus to move or create. And so I honestly have to say that I could never really convincingly teach. And I could convincingly teach it. That's why if I teach you how to think. I don't teach, oh, if you put so many movements here, then you can create it like this. Maybe there is a system to it. But since I have been a very instinctive choreographer all my life, I don't know. I don't really know whether it's good or bad in the end. I just do it because I feel this is what needs to be done. So each piece sort of, it just becomes itself with me just helping it along, I feel. So in a way,
do you think the choreography can be taught? I mean, when you talk about teaching choreography.
they're teaching choreography right now. You can do a master's in choreography. Um, I don't know. I see a lot of work which is out there. Um, some of it feels like it's very organic and natural, and it's coming from a very instinctive space, and but some of it feels like it's very effortful. So I'm not so sure that it's like creation. I mean, can you really teach painting? You can, right? But ultimately, um, to be a great painter, it has to be something. I mean, art without heart is not art. So I don't know whether I don't know. I can't say honestly that I know. I think maybe there are lots of people out there who are fabulous. I just don't. I'm not like that. I haven't learned anything, so I can't say.
So your way of working, mode of working is very intuitive and instinctive. There is no
Yes.
particular reference point.
No.
I'll refer to that. Okay.
No.
Didi, in that, since we were talking about Samhara and Ahuti, how did you choose to collaborate with? It is in fact a multinational collaboration. So, what was your instinct in choosing Kandin dance? Kandin dance, sorry.
Uh, the company that we worked with, Chitrasena Dance Company, we've known them for now 15 years. Uh, so we knew them for almost 8 years before we even decided to do work together. So in those 8 years, they have come here, we have gone there, we have done some workshops with them, they have done some workshops with us. It's like a family almost. We have been more than family in a lot of ways. So we have great respect for each other's work. Our work ethic is very similar, and they're great dancers. So it was interesting that along the way, after watching each other for a long time, we decided that we would do some work together, but it was not with the purpose of actually creating a production. The way it worked was they wanted to work with me as a choreographer, but I had told them very clearly that I'm not so sure that this will end in a production. We'll just work, and hopefully we will all have learned something in the end, because it's the first time we're doing something like this. So they were astounding in the amount of trust they had in me, that we took 8 months to create that book, where they practically lived with us every other month. So the investment has been like nothing else that comes close to it in this country, really. The kind of work that we have put into that. So at the end of it, when something actually came out of it, they were relieved, I think. I was surprised. But I thoroughly enjoyed the process because it was completely new and completely different, and we worked from we started from scratch. There's like a completely empty, board, and we start from there, and we created something from it. So we all learned something.
Didi,
Something
before
beautiful
I
came out.
move on to the next question, I just again want to do an off-record question. Uh, when you create something, do you have this palpating of your heart, whether it will be, you know, something good, something bad? I don't know. What do you feel? I mean, I want to know.
Me? No. No. I really don't. I really, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that I'm always scared that I'm never going to create or dance. I'm not ever going to do anything worthy of anything. But I don't do anything I don't find enjoyable or that I'm not learning something from. This is a decision I made a long time ago. So it has to, like, my mind has to be so, activated and having fun, and also learning something in the process, and all of those emotions like happiness, sadness, and anger at myself, and you know completely being ridiculous also. I think that the process is very important. The end result is, if it's consistent with the process, and the process has been an enjoyable one, so no matter what happens in the end, I think uh, something of value comes out of it.
Yes.
So I'm not sure whether good, bad, ugly, this is what I can do. End of story. So,
But Didi, there was one great musician who really considered your work worthy enough to collaborate with you over the years. We're talking about Pandit Raghunath Panigrahi ji. So if you could just, you know, and he's such a gem of a person. If you could just trace and take us through your experience with him.
yeah, I used to call him Guruji. I'm not so sure that I can actually, this is the truth, I'm not so sure that I can actually create Odissi music with anybody else. I had such a unique and special relationship with him. I mean, I was so much, younger and, junior as an artist to him, but he never treated me with condescension. He always treated me as an equal artist. And right from the very beginning, we had an understanding where, the art was concerned, where it was like fireworks, everything just clicked straight away. And I work with any artist like that, but with him, a lot of it was my own input. Like, I want music to now go here. Can I change the raga here? Can you add something here? Can you subtract? And sometimes you get so sick and tired of me. He would say like, "Sab to rag de diya, pocket khali ho gaya, aur kitna kar?" You know, it's something. Sometimes he would shout at me, and I would cry, and we would suspend everything for the day, and he'd be fed up with me, and then the next day we would come back and start again. And then again, I would say, "But can I try this?" And then he would be like, "You say shuru ho gayi." And then when it actually clicked, and there was a eureka moment, and then he would go, "ये लड़की को पता है मुझसे कैसे काम निकलवाना." So he was himself so amazed at the things that he was doing for us that became fun for him also.
Yeah. And
Very,
how was the first time that you approached him? I'm curious about that. And how was his reception?
actually, Lynn contacted him because we were looking for someone to compose new music for us, and we've heard him singing and all of that. So I just asked Lynn, "Can we contact him? Would he be willing to work with us?" And she said, "No harm, let's try." So that's how we contacted him, and he immediately said yes, because he wasn't actually doing a lot of work at that point. Nani had just passed away, and he was in a very sad state. I don't know whether he even wanted to do anything anymore, because he was in mourning. And then he came to Nrityagram, and instantly it was like he had found his thing. And I think it also gave him back a great deal. So I think it was mutually extremely beneficial.
I think he saw a reflection of Sanjanani in you, because she was also a very, you know, straightforward, fiery lady.
He
Perhaps.
told me that all, he told me that all the time.
He did. He
Told me
did.
that all the
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
all the time. मुझे लगता है मेरी संजू आ गई, he said.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was very special, and I don't think that it's going to be easy for me to find another person who will understand me and my artistic, uh, ideas like he did.
Yeah. And yet, Didi, life continues, and I think you have begun teaching now. I think, yes, and
We can
teaching, like you're taking classes now. I mean, you're teaching. First, it was Vijay used to teach.
stop taking classes
नहीं,
ever.
मतलब yeah,
I
Vijayani
teach
was
like 30 years. What are you saying?
no, Vijayani Didi was looking after the teaching, and you were,
They got the ensemble every single day.
but now you're teaching students also. I mean, the regular ones.
Yeah, I teach everybody.
How's that?
So Pavitra is here. Pavitra does a lot of the basic training also. She's the one who takes over actually. She does all the basic training. I also teach a great deal, but still the ones that I teach are still the ones who are, focusing on becoming professionals. And I teach in the city classes which I started 10 years ago. And like I said, that class has taught me something very interesting. It's also, I've learned a great deal from that.
And
So
what do you prefer, choreographing or teaching? Which one do you prefer?
I don't think this is an either or. I love to teach people who are genuinely, serious, genuinely excited about this thing. Anybody who's willing to journey with me is exciting. If you're on a different trip, I'm on a different trip. It's going to be hard, and that is hard for me. But if it is someone who's just as passionate, just as with me, I think this is a very important thing. Whether you dance with me or you learn with me, then it becomes interesting. No matter what you do in life, I think that's what it is. So yeah, if there's a great student, I'm happy. If there's someone who can put together what I'm teaching, that's fabulous. So I've got all my life, sorry.
Yet, Didi, I think I am quoting you. I read one of your interviews again, and you had said there are just so very few committed dancers. It is just so difficult to get committed dancers, whom you can train. So there are hardly any buddy, who can devote the prime of their life, just to dance and staying so far away from the city. Why do you think there is this lack of commitment, or just,
I don't think that it has changed at all. I think Garima used to say, if you find 1 in 1,000, you're lucky.
yeah,
1 in 1,000. That's what she used to say.
yeah,
I think there are a lot more dancers today. Like when I became a dancer, I didn't know anyone in my community or in my circle who would dream of taking dance as a profession. But just me. In Gorima's time, it was even more rare, right? Because there was one Pratima Bedi, one Sonal Mansingh, one Sanjunani, whatever. So I don't think that, that suddenly they have reduced. I don't think so. I think they just weren't that many then. It wasn't even an acceptable profession. Today, I see a lot more dancers who even consider that dance is going to be a profession, and they're all smart, young people who are thriving sometimes in even other professions, but choose to become dancers. So I don't think that that's changed. I'm just saying that the ones who come to me are not necessarily those who want to be with me. That may be just my fault. It may be not nobody else's fault. You know, that's okay. I
No,
don't think it's anybody else.
I did not ask you this because you've spoken about this quite a few times. Actually, not really. I mean, you have spoken that you were in Miranda House and then you whatever read about Nityagram and you walked up here. But again, what was that impulse that you had to come here and be here? So
I couldn't say. I think that I just knew that if I wanted to do something like dance, I would do it really well. That's really important for me. Like no matter what I do, it has to be really well. I'm a perfectionist like that. So I wanted to be happy. It's an important thing. I didn't think that happiness would mean so much, gruelings, army discipline and sacrifice. But I knew that uh, my mind is a very fertile mind. It's constantly like I need something to drive it. And all my life I've had things I want to do. But it's when I found dance that I became absolutely still in my mind. Like it was for the first time I knew I had come home. So no matter what happened, I found that, at the expense of my body becoming exhausted beyond belief, becoming even ill sometimes, or, being exposed to a village where there was nothing, no electricity, no water, no nothing, no cold, no hot water for years. All of that, I was still at it, you know. It was so completely alien to my life from the previous life I had, but I was at it. So I knew that this is it, this is what I want to do. So I don't think that it's even something that you really decide. I think life decides for yourself, for you. My guru, who was my Bharatanatyam guru, who's now actually 100 odd years old, he's still alive. He always told us that he said, if there's a choice, then you're not meant to do it. For some of us, there is no choice.
there's no
So
choice. And if this question is asked whether would you go through the Nityagram training again, it's a yes. I'm assuming
at this point,
yes.
would I go through it at this point, or
If
would I?
there's a time machine and you go back, realizing that it's going to be this hard, over this journey, would you do it all
I
over?
don't think I regret a single day,
Okay.
and I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that there is any other way to really do it in the way that it should be done. I mean, I'm not talking about suffering, but I'm talking about the work, the environment, the space, the kind of investment that it has taken has made me who I am. So I don't think that that can be substituted with anything in the world. Um, I wish I could gift it to every single dancer so that they can understand, what kind of what kind of addition it is to their life, this
And Didi, Nityagram
experience.
has turned 30. So, what's the way forward? What have you thought about Nityagram now? What's in the pipeline?
I'm not thinking, Instagram is thinking, I'm just doing. Like Garima used to say, this land has its own destiny and it has used me to fulfill itself. I'm the second person that it's using to fulfill itself. I hope, I think the only hope I have is that whoever it is that comes is able to understand the seed element that makes this idea uh, flourish. This the seed idea. The idea here is one of excellence, but the idea is still the Nrityagram is just an idea. It's nothing more. So if you don't understand, for an idea to be perpetuated over time, is not so simple. To keep it alive is not so simple because it has certain inbuilt elements that need to be nurtured. If the idea itself changes, then it's very likely going to fall apart. So for me, the attempt is to transmit this idea that I understand what is not just excellence, it's not just living like this, it's not just becoming a dancer, it's not just one thing. It is a composite of so many things. And to be able to transmit that idea, I need time.
And Didi,
30 years
one last
time.
question before I wrap up. Um have you found worthy recipients of the seat in all these years?
My problem is I feel everybody can do it. That's what I feel. But it doesn't end up being that way. And then it makes me sad. So I'm not so sure that, like I said right in the beginning, I'm not so sure it's somebody else's fault. I think it's mine because neither have I become a, you know, maybe not the best choreographer, not the best dancer, not the best teacher, not the best anything. So the attempt is still on.
Yes, and
I'm
pursuit
not sure I'll achieve it, but I don't care. I just have to keep doing what I do. No think, don't think, just do.
Okay. Thank you, Didi. It was a really, really inspiring and a thought-provoking talk we had, and it really, really makes me think as a young dancer, for a lot of things that needs to be thought about. So if it's no thinking for you, for us young people, it's a lot of thinking to do. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.